Remain. With the bib number 2, he's a 5-time Ironman champion. He's a 2-time Ironman world champion. Representing Germany, Patrick Lange. Olympic gold medalist 2008. 2-time Ironman 70.3 world champion. 3-time Ironman world champion. Please put your hands together for Germany's Frodeno. And for those of you watching on social, a lovely podium position here in 2019 at the 70.3 World Championship. And on debut, the win on the Promenade des Anglais. Special moments, it's a special place. What a privilege to race here.
Definitely. I mean, when you have a home race, it's always pretty special, and especially when it becomes a Ironman World Championship, which is the most important race for me in triathlon. And yeah, I mean, I grew up here, and I was coming here at the Ironman every year, watching the professionals when I was already just a few years old. I would go up on my mountain bike at the top of the Côte to see these warriors come up, and I always told myself I'd be one day there racing, and hopefully up there with the top professionals. And yeah, now it's finally here, and it's always been kind of a dream for me to have a race here at the highest level, not just an average Ironman, but a world championship. And so this is the first time it's happened outside of Kona, and yeah, what an experience.
I think we would all agree with you. I mean, I've had the privilege of being here 2011, 2012, and a couple other years as the announcer of Ironman Nice, France. But arriving here with the World Championship week, just everything felt different. I mean, you used the word average. There's absolutely nothing average about this week.
Definitely not. I mean, from the caliber of the athletes to everything surrounding the event, the media, the photos, and all the people around the race. It's definitely a bigger and better event, and yeah, I mean, just can't wait to be out there on the course. It will be, I think that on Sunday will feel even extra special just racing out there.
What did you take from that podium against the best athletes over the 70.3 distance in the world in 2019, and then also from winning on debut Ironman France? You had the Texas win this year already, but what did you take from that in terms of how you prepared for the start on Sunday morning?
I mean, from the Ironman win last year, that was my, yeah, as you said, my first full distance, and I think I'll definitely have a better performance than that to compete with the best on Sunday. And then from 2019, yeah, that's very good for the confidence because that was a world championship, and I was able to compete with the best and be on the podium. So, and as you said, I know the course really well, so that's definitely an advantage. But I think in the past, people weren't really, that wasn't really on their radar to know the course that well here. But there's been so much talk about the course and about the downhills that all the guys have come and done some recon and know the downhill quite well now. So I think we're more on a level playing field on that side of things.
Good observation. So representing the USA, thank you very much, Rudy. And if you look at being French in France, there could be no better fuel in your tank.
Yeah, it's true, but these two races are very different, Hamburg is very flat, this one not. So, yes, on Hamburg I was in really good shape, I'm still in good shape, but the win in Hamburg doesn't make me more confident about that race.
Fair enough. If I look at one of your best results in Kona was a 14th position, obviously an extremely different course, and that would surely, being French in France, that changes the confidence in terms of the results expected of yourself, by yourself for Sunday.
Yes, I raced 6 World Championships, but I never had a good day yet, so I expect to have it on Sunday. And it's easier for family, for friends to come and cheer here in Nice than in Hawaii, so on the race day I will have a lot of supporters, and yes, it will be an extra motivation, and maybe if you already gave it everything, you maybe will have still one more to give.
I remember an athlete once saying, when racing at home with all that local support, actually, that athlete said it was almost too much pressure. But when they converted the pressure into energy, it changed their racing. How do you feel about the local support?
I think at the beginning of the run I will be far from the lead, so they will focus on the other French, and I will be in my zone, and maybe at the end, if I race and if I run well, I can transfer the pressure and motivation.
That actually brings me to one of the questions we had on social media, and it was directed specifically at you. Are you going to save what's on the bike for the run, or are you just going to go, go, go?
I will race like I do every time. I want to have no regrets after the finish line, so I won't save energy on the bike to run faster than if not, but I won't go on the bike because I want a strong race in the 3 parts.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for France. Denis, Chevrot. It would appear on paper that the Euros have the advantage because this is kind of their territory. They're used to the climbs and the technical descents, etc. And a lot of the talk around the race has been, oh, the climbs, the climbs, the climbs. But it's not just one thing that's going to make or break the race.
Yeah, no, not at all. That whole race is going to just blow up completely, I believe. I think there's so many points where you can push so much power that you're probably going to regret later on in the race, or maybe that's what will make your race. So it's definitely going to be the big game, gambling game of where you're ready to play your cards and how that's going to work out for you. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't actually raced that well in Europe when I've come over here. I've always battled with kind of getting in the time zone and shaking the travel off. But yeah, hopefully this time I've had a really good block at altitude up in St. Moritz for the last month and a few weeks down here, so I feel pretty settled into Europe now in the time zone, and hopefully it helps my racing.
When we look at the previous results and the races on this course in the past, obviously the field of athletes was a little bit different. I mean, do we have to throw history away completely? Is it a blank canvas on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. I think the race is just going to be so much more on from the gun, and people are going to be. It's a world champs. We come here. I mean, maybe it's talking too much, but I won't be happy if I don't get on the podium, kind of thing. So I'll be prepared to risk, anything to be up there, and if I'm going for the win, then I completely detonate and. Whatever, that's kind of risk I'll take at a World Champs, because I'm not too phased about just finishing down the ranks, to be honest. So I think everyone here is prepared to risk a lot more, and that'll make for some pretty tough racing.
It'll make for some tough racing, but it'll make for some extremely exciting racing as well, I think. So all the best to you. Best of luck to New Zealand's Braden, Currie, as we move to another one of our...
Yeah, I win the Ironman WC in June. It was very special because it was my first Ironman win also. Yes, it was also special because I live here at Nice, and yeah, it was only my third Ironman races, and it will be my fourth this weekend. And yes, I know it's special because when you live here you have a lot of cheers, but also it's so much different than Kona because it's just at 2K the start line for me, so yes, it's very, very good things, I think. I'm a little bit less stressful also than in June because I didn't have my qualification in June, and the end of qualification for Nice finished in July, so it was pretty short to have qualification because at the beginning of the year, the main goal for me was to qualify at Nice at the World. So yes, I'm happy, and now I'm very excited to be Sunday.
And in June you're going to experience, obviously, the entire course. There's all that talk about the bike, about the climbs, about the descents, but we haven't spoken much yet about the run. I'm going to put one des Anglais, which you experienced in June. It might be flat, and it might be 4 easy laps in and out, but there's nothing easy about that marathon.
Yeah, that's true. It's a tough bike, but the most difficult for me is the run part because it's very difficult mentally. We do 4 loops, and it's 5K straight, and it's difficult to have a repair on the promenade Lange because all the landscape are the same also. And with all people it's difficult also because also during the training we run on the track cycling just next to, and it's impossible to run on the road with car doing training. So yes, also it's flat, but with the wind and with the heat it's very difficult. During in June it was around 33 degrees, and I think it's almost the same for Sunday, so I know the difficult for the race.
Merci beaucoup, Clement, and bonne chance. Yeah, it was
Probably one of the guys that started triathlon the latest. Like my triathlon age is really young, and I've only really raced professionally for a few years. So it's it has been a steep learning curve, and to sit here besides all these super professional and gentlemen, and also a lot of my previous idols, still idols, but and actually believing that I had a shot of racing for the win is super special.
without a doubt. I mean, 2 incredible long-distance wins at that time of 7:24:40. But the truth be told, you can look at all the results and you can look at the history, but when the gun goes on Sunday, that means absolutely nothing. It's how you feel on the day.
Yeah, obviously I take a lot of confidence from my previous long distance and Ironman races, but also it's clear that this course is much different than any other full distance Ironman race I've done so far. So that's what I think is really cool about this race. You really don't know what's going to happen, and I think we'll be in for a lot of surprises out there.
When it comes to surprises, so much of the talk, as we mentioned, we're going to say it again and again, revolves around that full gas bike course. And when we talk bike, we talk Magnus.
Yeah, it's an interesting bike course, and I've heard a lot of people talking about my Pacific skills and my heavyweight and everything. So we'll see on race day. I feel pretty confident that I'm going to climb very well, and also have a few tricks on the downhills I haven't showed yet. So I think it's the harder the bike course for me, the better.
I'm looking forward to Sunday quite a lot because just the last 10 months basically have been geared towards that day. I'm really excited about, for me it's a third World Champs and it's a third different location. It feels like this maybe should be the norm. I don't know, maybe some other people will disagree, but I think it's a fantastic opportunity to showcase different skill sets from different athletes, have different race scenarios, different race dynamics, and if you can be a world champion on loads of multiple courses, that's the true mark of a complete athlete. And I'm excited for Sunday just because it's a new course and one that suits me probably even better than the other 2 world champ courses where I've done all right. So we'll see on Sunday.
You say you've done all right. I mean, nothing wrong with 7th place last year, October, on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. And if we look at your results, I mean, your wins are on very, very tough courses, even outside of Ironman.
Yeah, Ironman is pretty difficult, but I'd making it even harder for myself somehow. The bike is definitely my strength, and the longer the race in terms of duration, the more opportunity I have to create a gap maybe on the bike and somehow hold on the run. It's no secret that the swim is my weakness, and I need time after that to make up that deficit. So Nice is definitely that. It's a hard course. It's going to be a longer bike than usual, but I've raced multiple times. 8 hours 45, 9 hours 30. So shouldn't be a problem on Sunday.
Sounds like.
Yeah, Wales was probably one of my best days. Kind of replicated what I did before that last year, and hopefully have the legs that I did in Wales last year. That was probably my best performance to date, but it wasn't a championship race, so kind of went unnoticed a bit. So yeah, if I can feel like that on race day, I'll be really pleased, and hopefully it'll be in the mix.
There are a lot of British athletes racing here. I know there are a lot of people from the United Kingdom online watching, but I'm just sort of looking back, it's kind of thanks to former multiple Ironman champion Lucy Gossage that you're racing triathlon as a professional athlete.
Yeah, it was Lucy that got me into it back in the day. She said, "Sign get a pro license and you can race for free." So I did that and been going ever since.
You were here last year, and you kind of didn't really take it seriously per se. It was your bachelor's, wasn't it, last year here in Nice?
Yeah, it was. I was going to be taking it seriously, but I had COVID in March, and that kind of put me back. And then I got the late call up for sub 7 a week beforehand, and didn't want to do another Ironman properly in the same month after recovering from that. But I had to be in Nice to start my stag party because all my friends were racing. We were going on a road trip from there. So I was like, well, I'll give it a go, but I'm not going to take it too seriously. And I wasn't really planning on doing the run. But then, as it got closer to the race, I was like, actually, yeah, I'll give it a bit of a crack. And just died in the heat. I remember the water being boiling, thinking non-wetsuit, and then they said jellyfish on the day, wetsuit. Somehow had a good swim and got out in the front group, which is very unusual for me, and then was just cooked for the rest of the race. And I just remember sat at the top of the hill, waiting for my friend Tom to come up. He was borrowing my gravel bike for it, and we were just like, we'll just cruise around on the bike and get to the end. But I'm glad I did do the bike though, because obviously back then we had no idea this was going to be the World Championship course for this year, so having done that, it was like a little bit of a recce and an eye-opener, and I'm glad it's not going to be as hot this Sunday as what it was last June, because that definitely added another challenging element to the race.
And in terms of opening your eyes, what did you see that you've taken into Sunday?
The climb, like the big one, the Col de l'Ecre, I didn't realise how long and how long it goes on for really, and lack of aid stations on that. That was definitely something to know. And the second one, because everyone kind of talks about the one big climb and then makes it sound like you're on a plateau and then it's all downhill, but the second one, the 9K one before the descent, is going to be the sting in the tail, and yeah, knowing how that feels in the Ironman is definitely a benefit, and I think that's going to catch a lot of people out, to be honest.
And then in Kona last year, you were dominating the TV time in front for so long in an incredible second place. Did that change your life, Sam Laidlow?
For sure, yeah, because I'm sat here now, you know. Yeah, I keep having to think to myself, it's an amazing opportunity I've got here, and I've grown up watching these races, these athletes, and these press conferences. So yeah, I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and looking forward to Sunday. Yeah, I'm healthy, and really excited to go.
Relatively speaking, we can say both a veteran and new. You know, I mean, you've basically, triathlon's been in your blood since the age of 4. You've grown up a triathlete, and then, you know, at a young age in 2022, second place at the Ironman World Championship. Does that actually put pressure on you now, or do you still say, hey, I'm a young man, I've got a long way to go still?
Yeah, I got asked this question in the Ironman interview as well. I think I have the same reply, is that I don't, I'm on my journey, and I will one day win this race, and that's my goal, you know, and but yeah, whatever happens on Sunday is just part of that process. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like the pressure should be on me. I'm 24, I've got the fastest time in Canada of anybody here, which is pretty amazing to remind myself. And yeah, I mean, I think the pressure should be on these guys. This last dance.
We're going to talk about that dance shortly. He's got his dancing shoes on. Somebody's just chirping on social media, on YouTube as we speak. That guy's not French.
Yeah, I love living in France, and I've had the best lifestyle, so I do. Yeah, and France has got me to where I am today, but yeah, I think I'm probably a Brit at heart.
So that answers the fact that at the VinFast Ironman 70.3 World Championship in Rudy, just around the corner, just a few days ago, we had 3 Germans in the men's race on that podium. Is that a good omen for Sunday?
Yeah, I think it is, definitely. It definitely took me back to 2016 when Jan Silly and I finished on the podium, and I think it gave a little extra push for the final preps. And let's hope that we have some Germans on the podium on Sunday as well.
Very, very difficult to predict because it's a brand new course in terms of racing as a world championship, and when you put the best athletes on the start line, it changes the dynamic completely. I happen to have the honor of welcoming you down the finish line first in Israel at the Ironman Middle East Championship with that insane 2:30 run of yours. Is that possible in a format désormais?
It is possible. I'm pretty sure of that, and I think in 10 years' time, this will be the norm to run to 30 to take the win, especially in the World Championship. So happy to be the first one who introduced kind of this new time. But definitely it's a different race. You've been there in Israel. It was pouring rain all day long. It was definitely colder. The course was a little bit more undulating, which I like definitely more than the dead flat course. So I agree that we definitely don't talk enough about the tough front course. So of course the bike course stings out super hard, but with the heat, the humidity, the winds, and like this, you cannot use different muscle groups. It's just all in for this flat run. It's going to be really challenging. I think especially on the first lap, you come off that hard bike course, you have all this, I expect massive crowds down on the promenade des Anglais and shouting at you, so keep yourself a little bit calm when you start to run. It's going to be really, really hard. But yeah, I definitely try to give them less to clock another 2:30, that's for sure.
I'm glad we're talking a bit about the run, and I want to briefly jump back to the bike because, I think I heard you saying, it might have been when you were being chatting to Bob Babbitt, about how on paper you've done so well on the Big Island in the humidity and the heat and the lava fields of Kailua Kona, Hawaii. But on paper, theoretically, this course suits you better.
Yeah, but it's not only on the paper.
Yeah.
We do the talking on the course. Of course, a lot of people are talking about power to weight ratios and me being a light athlete. Jan and I were joking about our leg lengths. He's so much taller. I don't. Of course, I go into the climb with that in mind, and I think it is a benefit going up. But what goes up must come down. Cannot forget about the descent. It's going to be really technical. So it's a big unknown for every one of us because racing in the World Championship level is definitely a different ball game to a normal Ironman. So it's going to be interesting. And after the race, in 2 years' time, we have a lot of learnings, I think.
Is there pressure to make it for you?
There's always pressure, and I've always had pressure, and I've loved pressure. One of my credos is pressure makes diamonds, and it's something I relish because if that pressure wouldn't exist, I might as well go climbing, around the local streets of Andorra and see if I can get a Strava KOM. This is a world championship. This is where the strongest of the strong guys looking in this line all get together and we kind of all meet up to kick our heads in for 8 hours and see who comes out on top. And that's beautiful. Honestly, that's dominated my life for the last 23 years. And it's really, quite emotional in many ways to be here one more time and live that pressure, live for that pressure, and see what I can do with that pressure.
You mentioned 23 years. And I've spoken to some other athletes who they just don't know how you manage to keep yourself so motivated to stay at the pinnacle all the time and deliver these results. But let's go back. I heard you make reference, I know you've been training with South Africa's Brad Weiss, who's also lining up with our professional men, and I heard you make reference to training with a South African and how somehow it's appropriate because that's how it started, South Africa.
Yeah, I grew up in South Africa and I learned about triathlon in a small country race in the middle of nowhere, probably 150k out from Cape Town. and was running around in a pair of budgie smugglers because that's how I'd seen triathlon on TV and in LA, and probably some images of Mark running around in just his speedos, and I almost got arrested because that's considered public indecency in South Africa. So that was a humble beginning a long time ago, but it's been a wonderful journey, and to have Brad, you know, the guy who may well have one of the, if not the best power to weight ratio of anyone, has been equally motivating, frustrating at times when you see how quick those guys can climb, but you know, part of going full circle for me.
Did you have any idea how fortuitous it would be that move from Girona to Andorra? Because you had no idea that the Men's World Championship would be raced in Nice. And then we look at the coals and the mountains in Andorra. I mean, probably the best playground to prep for Sunday.
It was funny because I was here in 2018 and I looked at the 70.3 course and I was like, nah, I'm going home, this is not for me, I'm not made out for this. And then, you know, moved to Andorra at the time, more of a rocky concept to go to the mountain and really focus and get out of my comfort zone and attack one more time to try and get to the pinnacle of the sport one more time. Around about a couple of months before Andrew made his famous announcement, and we all know when he makes an announcement, it was unfortunately not April Fool's Day. And you know, being here and having gone through this journey, I can say I actually like the call. I think it's a really cool venue. I think there's a lot of history here. The French love triathlon, and you know, I remember racing French Grand Prix and just how it's kind of ingrained in the sports DNA here. And so, yeah, moving to Andorra was a lucky shot. I mean, I have about 10 climbs that are an hour long at my doorstep, and that's something I've been able to learn over the last year.
As Patrick said, everything that goes up must come down. Let's talk about those descents. I think your record is saying you like to take risks.
Yeah, it's my thing. All talking of KOMs, all the KOMs I own in my life are all descents, downhills. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that card. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, there's some fantastic technical riders here, and I think it brings an element of fun and adrenaline that's not common in Ironman racing per se. It's a course that probably wouldn't pass health and safety standards in America simply because the turns are a little bit steep, and when you go down in a full race setup it gets very fast as well. But I think most of the guys here will agree, it's just adds a very special element, and I'm kind of grateful for the challenge.
Mark Allen was saying that in his final race, when he knew he was calling it quits, it was his final race, he actually felt no pressure because he'd achieved what he wanted to achieve. Would that be fair? Do you feel that at all, or are the butterflies still flying out of formation?
Well, I've definitely got the butterflies, and I've been sleeping bad for about a week, which tells me that I'm nervous, and tells me that it still matters, and I do deeply care. I understand though what he means to a degree, at least from my perspective, that you find a kind of inner peace, and you find time to reflect, and you know, it's a very interesting time because it's definitely a unique approach that I've never had before a race. And going in and going to a swimming pool and knowing this is the last time you can or perhaps have to swim 3100s at threshold, you know, it's something I never thought I'd miss. But I got out of the pool and I was like, geez, that's kind of, it's a little bit sad too. And you know, it's a whirlwind of emotions, but it's been an incredible journey, and yeah, I'm looking forward to completing it on Sunday.
We're in the number one.